I could remember vividly when we gave birth to our son, and my mother-in-law told us that as soon as we spread our baby's clothes and we have to take them in, we should make sure that we iron his clothes for him because of a particular insect that deposits something on clothes, and at the end of the day something start growing out of the baby's body. And I remembered also that my husband told me that where they were living before, that there was a particular girl, a very small girl, whom everybody thought she had boy. And before they knew it, my mother-in-law suggested that since they've been treating it for long and the girl is feeling so uncomfortable, why don't they try putting palm oil on the particular surface to see if it is what she has been assuming all along. And fortunately for them, they did, and this particular deposit had turned to something else inside the girl's body, and it started coming out. And that was when they knew that it wasn't boil, but it was something else. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm grateful. Stay till the end of this video. If you know that you get irritated by seeing some things, please just omit some clips and just watch the rest of the video, because human discretion is advised. Thank you so much for joining me. Hello my lovely subscribers, thank you so much for joining me today. How are you doing? And if you are seeing me for the first time, my name is Oyinda Malaoni, and you are welcome to Exciting Moments with Doing, where I get to share things that will be of benefit to you. I know that you joining us will not be a regret. Thank you so much. Please don't leave without subscribing to my channel, and also like and share this video, most importantly, with somebody or with people that might need it around. It's just a video to make people aware that there are some things that exist, and we have to take caution. We have to prevent all of these things from happening to us and our children. So a few days back, we noticed that there was this mosquito bite, because that was what we thought at first, that there was this mosquito bite on our son's shoulder, I think about 6 places. So we felt, maybe because we need to fleet, we need to do some other things that will prevent all of these mosquitoes. We later realized that he began to feel uncomfortable. Okay, I think 2 days after, the face of that bite changed. It started growing bigger. So we felt maybe, oh, it's an infection, since he plays with other children and he also goes to school. He mingles with other children from different homes. So we felt, maybe it's an infection. So my husband said we should get drugs for him at the pharmacy, and which I did. I took him to the pharmacist, and the pharmacist we met there saw him and gave us some drugs. I'm going to be showing you the drugs. This is one of it. I think we bought this for 2005. I don't know if you can see this clearly. Then we got these ointments. She was the one that actually prescribed it, and I think this one is we got it for 3,500. She told us that it was going to work, that it was just an infection. Probably he got the infection from school. She said we should use the drugs for him in the morning and in the night. Then we should always rub this, so in the morning and in the night for him. But that night was a very long night for me, because I discovered that my son couldn't sleep, and it's so unusual of him. Even when he's ill, he tries to sleep, to have a very good sleep. But this particular night was different, and I was so worried. He couldn't sleep throughout the night. It was in the morning, like around 4, before he started sleeping. And thankfully there was public holiday for like 3 days, and so I was grateful that he doesn't have to like go to school. So we started monitoring it, and during the holiday my husband was around, and we started checking it. All along, when he likes to play, all along when he tries to play, he will feel that there's something on his shoulder that is kind of biting him, he will just be throwing his hand and all of that. Mom is paining me, mom is paining me. So we were just caring for him. Even when we tell him to pick something, you say, no, mommy, my hand is paining. Okay, go and sit down, like that. Then we later had to check. We later had to check the shoulder again to know what is really wrong, because he wasn't himself, and we were feeling it as parents of him not feeling comfortable. So when we checked, we now discovered that there was a particular hole, like the surface had created a hole on the shoulder. My husband was like, I hope this is not what I've been thinking about. That So he reminded me of the story he told me about a small girl who they thought had boy, but eventually it was something else, and what they actually did. He reminded me of that story, and I was like, let's try it out. Let's just try it. If it's the one, we've been trying to prevent this all along, but anything can happen, because a lot of people afterwards told us that it could be as, it doesn't even have to be like, okay, somebody spreading out clothes, that it might be true playing in the sand, or playing with other children, that it got infected. That was how we put palm oil on the surfaces, like we put it on the skins that the fly actually bit. And then you will see the rest of the story in the clip I'm going to show you now. I had to go to the internet because I don't know the name. I've never seen it before. It was my husband that told me the story. I had to go and browse to check what this really is, and I discovered that it's an infection of a fly larva in human tissue. It is called Myiasis. It's called Myiasis, and the fly that deposits this infection in human tissue is called bud fly, and it is common in Nigeria and other tropical areas. That's areas that are very hot, and that's why children can likely get it in this part of the world. So just hold on, let me show you the clip and how we're able to get everything out of his body. So here was when we had to apply the oil, and as you can see, it's already coming out. My mother-in-law explained to us that as soon as the larva sees palm oil, it starts tracing the area where the palm oil is coming from. And at first, when it started coming out, it felt so irritating, and I couldn't imagine it being on my body or coming out from my skin. So this is it coming out. And here my husband was on call, was trying to reach out to his mom to know what to do. We were told not to press it, that it will come out by itself, but it was taking too long, and we were waiting patiently. I don't know, my son wasn't scared. I don't know why. He wasn't scared at all. It keeps going back inside and coming in. It keeps going back and coming in. We needed to add more oil on the surface so that by the time it sees more, maybe that one will let it come out. So we added more oil to it here, and so we kept waiting, since we were told that we shouldn't press it, but it was taking too long for me. And you can see the other places, about 4 places now that we're waiting for, that we are still waiting for to press out. So that's the first, the second, third, and fourth. The other 2 are, they've not developed. I guess the drug we used actually made those ones to die or something. And my son was, I think he was feeling the movement, so you can see him stamping his foot on the ground. As it was coming out, he was reacting to it. Here my husband needed to press it out because it was taking too long. We had to press it out. Honestly, this is the first time I'm seeing something like this. It's still alive though. That is it. That's the first one. And this is the hole it has created on his body. So we move to the next one. We saw that there was movement on the next one too. He actually felt relieved when we removed the first one. He felt relieved. My husband had to press the second one without having to wait. We saw the movement already, so we needed to press it out. My son wasn't having it. He wasn't staying put. So here my husband was like, stay. Stay in one place so that I can press this thing. And here he's already pressing it out. He wants to check. So he tried again. Tried to bring it out by force. Yeah, so that's to come out by fire by force. It was paining him at this point, and so my husband cut it out. This is the second one, the first and the second one, and that's the hole it has created. So we're waiting for this third one, and my husband was like, let's wait it to come out. I couldn't wait for the third one to come out, so I pressed it myself and it came out. So that's the third one. So we have 3 now on the paper. So it was the first one that we couldn't bring out ourselves. The next day I took my son to the pharmacist. He's also our friend, and he was the one who brought out the fourth one. You can see him using, that's, I think it's spirit, because the smell of it. So he used spirit to clean the areas that the lava came out from the previous day, and the last one that was yet to come out. I was explaining to him the areas that all other ones came out from, and the last one that we're yet to bring out. So this is him trying to find the last one to also bring the last one out. He's pressing the last one out. It came out. I think at this point my baby was crying. I knew there was something left in that particular one, but it doesn't want to come out. So that was why we took him to the pharmacist, and here it is. At this point he needed to clean that area again, so he was crying. I think it was paining him at this point, so he was crying. I really felt for him. I really felt for him, but we are just grateful to God. I hope that every parent that sees this video will be able to look after their child and also check for anything on their body. Don't just assume things will go. Just try to take the right medication for your children, and also have their bath twice a day. Then iron their clothes, take care of their things. They are still young. They don't know much. So now the holes the lava created on his shoulder are closing up. That's the stage we are now. I hope you weren't irritated too much, because all along I was shouting when this lava was being removed from his skin. You know, it's so tough for a child who can barely explain himself going through something like this. But we are grateful to God because we're able to like think out of the box as to what could actually be wrong with him. And you can see that even the last one, we couldn't get it out of his skin ourselves. We had to press some, and we had to take him to the pharmacy the next day to help us press this particular lava out of his body. Try as much as possible to look after your children. This thing is so real. I'm just seeing it for the first time. Even though I lived in a town and we're exposed to a lot of things, I've never in my life seen something like this. It was so scary to me. Even this thing happening to my son is more scary to me. So I would like to advise parents out there, please check your children well. Check their clothes. There is need for you to iron their clothes. Please do so. Don't be so busy to take care of your children. Always have their bath for them. If you have any ointments or anything at home that you can get for them to prevent all of this infection on their skin, please do so. The pharmacist, who is our friend that eventually brought out the last one from his body, explained to us that after the lava is not taken out of the skin, it will eventually develop into another fly and it will fly away. But before that can happen, it must have caused a lot of damage, because I heard that it's blood draining. It drains the blood of the child. Okay, so please, in order to avoid all of these things happening to our children, they are so precious and we should treat them as one. We should treat them in a precious manner. Please look after your kids. Thank you so much for staying with me till the end of this video. I'm very grateful. Please, if you have not subscribed, please don't leave without subscribing. And thank you once again to my subscribers. I'm grateful. Until I see you again in my next video, bye and stay blessed.